Hello world, this is Nick, CEO and co-founder at Switcher, and today we'll be doing a live demo and walkthrough of our expanded offering to help make, manage, and monetize video. We'll also be doing a live Q&A. We're taking questions that have come in through social, and we'll be responding to some that come in during this stream. But let's go ahead and get started. Up first, we're going to be talking about how to add video to your blog. So with Switcher, you can log into your online account. You can upload videos to your online library. This is really kind of like an online locker for your content, a hub where you can store all of your videos in one place. You can add titles, descriptions, thumbnails, tags or categories to help filter and manage that video and save that in a private place that's just for you. Once you've added that video, you can choose to publish that, either share a link or embed it on your website. Here we're going to grab the embed code and add this to a blog. So this is a blog that was drafted on HubSpot. We're going to add an HTML block, and there you see the preview for that video, and you can see what that actually looks like for the audience. This example is how to stream to Instagram Live, which is something new that you can now do with third-party encoders. Be sure to check out that video in our Help Center. All right, up next, we are going to be taking a look at how to showcase multiple videos on your website. Here we are bulk uploading videos to your online library. We're going to be adding a category or tag that makes it easy to filter and find these. So if you've got lots and lots of video in your online library, when you bulk upload, you can basically have those grouped where they're easy to get to. Then we're going to go into a Switcher player. This is the placeholder that you'll put on your website for where that video lives, and we're going to create a playlist. So we select that filter or category. We're going to add those videos that we just put in our online account. We can also change other things about the Switcher player, like what's the first thing that you might see, the default display. So in this example, is it the playlist? Is it a feature video or a trailer? Is it a countdown for the next upcoming live video? In addition, you can customize the player. So you can change the button colors, the layout, and really personalize that experience to match your brand and your website. When you copy that embed code, you can go to your website builder. This is a GoDaddy example. We're going to add an HTML block and drop that code in. And there you have it. You're going to have a title, description for each of those videos that's easy to get to. There's a series of tabs off to the side of that video where you can get to the playlist where you can see other videos. And that's something you can manage from your online Switcher account. So it's really kind of a one-time setup. Once you've got that on your site, you can manage everything from your online account and change what is shown in that box. The next thing we're going to be taking a look at here is how to upload videos from the Switcher app. So here, if you're making videos on TikTok, Instagram, save those to your camera roll, and when you go into the Switcher app, you'll notice a new option to upload to your video library. We're going to pick that video from our camera roll. We're going to give it a title, a description. You can even change the thumbnail, and that's going to be saved to your online library. When you go to that option in the corner, you're used to seeing local recordings, things that are saved on your phone. You can tap that and change over to see everything that's a part of your online account, things that you've previously added, and including the video that we just put here. When you go to your online account for making a new Switcher player, you can adjust that so that it's optimized for vertical video. So in this example, if you wanted to take every video you've made on Instagram, on TikTok, add that to your library, you can have a special player that's dedicated to that content and optimized to feature those on your .com. The other thing we're going to be taking a look at here is how to create video with the Switcher app with an iPhone or iPad and have that automatically saved to your account. Here we're going to be using the multi-streaming flow. You're going to pick Switcher player. You could add YouTube, Facebook to the mix and have it stream to all of those at the same time. We're going to add that title and description, and then we're going to drill in on that Switcher player setting and pick a player to target. So where we've got a player that's already been embedded on our website, we did that one-time setup, we're going to say, hey, send this video over there. Once you have saved that, when you go live, it's automatically going to appear on your website. It'll be the first video that appears in that playlist. If you were to make a new video, it's going to automatically show up on that player in the playlist as well. and that list will continue to grow as you keep targeting that player. When you're done with that video, it's automatically saved in your library, so it's easy to grab that and put it in a different playlist or embed it as a standalone video on your website. You can even log into your online account from a computer and download that video and save it for yourself. But here's a quick preview of that video we stream with the app, automatically saved to your online library. Switching gears a bit, we're going to be looking at some of the Switcher 10.0 app features that we announced in January. One of those is being able to preview video on remote cameras before you make that connection in the main Switcher iPhone or iPad. So this allows you to put it on a tripod and frame that shot, make sure you've got just what you want before you actually make the connection from the main device. It's going to save some folks steps where they're probably used to walking back and forth, putting it on a tripod, making the connection, and then making adjustments to that camera. So I know this is one we've been hearing about from users for a while, and excited to get this one out there. Next, we are going to be taking a look at UVC inputs. This is a feature that's supported on new iPads with a USB-C port. You do have to be running iPadOS 17, but it allows you to connect a webcam directly to your iPad. This is an iPad-only feature, but that will replace the built-in camera and become your camera source. You can also connect this to a remote camera, and have it replace the camera on that device and send it over the network, over Wi-Fi. So you could use webcams or capture cards on remote cameras to bring those into your production. Some things that are really cool about UVC and the implementation here, it does pass through audio. So if you're using an external setup that has audio and video, that will actually come into the iPad and be a part of your production. This is something we haven't been able to accomplish with the CMO, but we do still recommend the CMO if you're looking to use an iPhone as a remote camera. So be sure to check that out if you're looking to bring a professional camera in to your Switcher setup. So the last thing we're going to be taking a look at here is green screen. We have built this in as a native feature for Switcher. You no longer have to use a third-party app or do screen sharing. It is built right into the product. To get started, you would log into your online account, go to experimental features, and enable green screen or Chroma Key from there. Once you've done that, when you log into the app, this is going to be available on camera sources, remote guests, screen sharing, video assets. You'll just press and hold that asset to get into the edit properties, and you can effectively make that video an overlay and knock out or remove the background. So once you enable that toggle, you can select a color to be removed. Typically, if you're buying a backdrop that is going to be a green screen or a blue screen, you can use this with, if you're in front of a white wall and there's enough contrast, you could select that and knock it out as well. But for best practice, green screen, blue screen, if you get that set up, you can knock that out and remove it from the background. That allows you or the subject to become an overlay that you can then put on top of a screen sharing or a pre-recorded video. So it opens up some really interesting use cases for things like education, gaming, reaction videos. This is an early version of this feature, so looking forward to your feedback. Be sure to pass that along, share with our team, and we'll keep improving on this one. So I think that wraps it up. We are going to be switching over to Q&A. We've got a few that came in ahead of today's stream that we're going to be taking, and we'll be jumping into the comments. Keep them coming and taking a few of those live as well. Hey everyone, say hi to Claire. She's going to be sharing some of the questions that came through on Instagram, LinkedIn, the Facebook event. And if you've been watching on Facebook, be sure to jump over to YouTube to see everything from start to finish. And we'll be republishing this as well. But Claire, let's go ahead and kick things off.
Yeah, just real quick before we get started, wanted to give a shout out to Ewan Smith for his awesome Chroma Key example video. You can check him out at mobilelivestreamsuccess.com. Really encourage you to visit. He's got some great tutorials. So yeah, let's kick it off with a question that came in prior from Lars on LinkedIn. And he asks, when will you implement a chat function to the player? It's the only thing keeping it from being a perfect webinar platform.
All right. Hi, Lars. Great to hear we're close on having the perfect webinar solution. If you're used to streaming on Facebook, YouTube, live comments are just core to the experience. I think it's expected. With Switcher Player, putting up video on your website, those viewers are anonymous. So that's one of the challenges we have right now, is because Switcher is not a social platform. Those viewers aren't already registered. They don't have a profile or account. We don't know who they are. And so that'll be one of the things we need to solve for when we go to look at something like chat. We do see some folks today using other solutions in parallel to Switcher. And so one that we've seen some folks have success with is called Minute Chat. Moviga has got a podcast where they're using this on their website. It's embedded right next to the Switcher Player. We also have the ability to put links on your Switcher Player, and we've seen where you can link to a WhatsApp group. And so that community can be having a conversation from their phone on WhatsApp while they're watching on their computer. I think one of the things we're going to be considering is, do we build something from the ground up where you have to force everyone to have a profile and account with Switcher, or are there platforms out there today where people are already registered, where those conversations are already happening that we can lean into? So there is a bit of a kind of strategic question that we're evaluating on this front. I know this is one that we hear a lot, especially for folks that are doing live video on Switcher Player. For recorded content, the need is a little bit different, and there's a different problem to solve for there when we think about like threaded comments or how you manage that afterwards. So this one's a lot larger than I think we expected going into it, and we're still gathering inputs on what's the right path so that we make sure we build the right thing here. But great question. Stay tuned for more updates on that one. Be sure to check out some of those alternatives like Minute Chat and WhatsApp in the meantime. And if you've got feedback on what a good experience here might look like, please pass that along.
Definitely. So how would you show a collection of videos that are easily discoverable and searchable by a viewer to like a user's website?
Yeah, so at the top of today's stream, we showed how to add single videos to your website with the Switcher Player and the video CMS. We also showed where you can bulk upload lots of videos, and you can organize those and filter. But a lot of those tools are more for you as the creator, the brand, the business on the back end. It's not fully represented in how that gets shown on your website. So if you want to show a collection of videos, today the best way to start is to create a Switcher Player, to create that playlist and add the videos that you want to show there. You can make adjustments to the configuration and default settings for that, where the playlist is the default view and the first thing that people will see. We've got those updates that are actually going to be rolling out later today. So check out this afternoon or tomorrow, and you'll be able to see a lot of what we talked about in the video in your own Switcher account online. Aside from that, we are building out some new capability where you can have a catalog for groups or collections of videos that is the main view on your website. So it's going to make it really easy to see lots of videos quickly and to jump into those and get more information, see links, buy products, buy subscriptions for individual videos and content. Think of that as kind of like a Netflix style experience that you can bring to your own .com. So that's one that's in the works and will be coming out later this year.
Awesome. So the next question that we got was also from before from our Facebook event page. And David asked if there were any teasers on what's next, and also how we prioritize what we build.
Yeah. So I look at the user group. It's such a cool place where people are sharing their videos, asking questions. We see a lot of feature requests come through there as well. I think one of the things that's challenging is we've got over 10,000 people that are using Switcher all around the world, and they're using it in very different ways. So when I look at something like the user group, a lot of our more active members are people that skew a bit more pro, or really pushing Switcher to the limit. And it's so cool to see how far you can take this and how much you can do. But we also have a ton of users that might be making video for the first time, and they've still got some other things to solve for. This is also where you see us expanding the offering, where it's not just making video, but how do you host that? How do you manage that? How do you get that on your website and monetize it? And so we're moving into a world where we're really expanding the offering, where it's not just the app for creating content, but it's that whole workflow from start to finish. Here we see challenges on going deep, where you have to do 3 things before you can get to a particular feature. So like super advanced features or features inside of features are going to be harder for us to prioritize because the reach is just not as big. It's not going to have the same impact for as many people. That's not to say that those aren't important or that they wouldn't greatly have an impact on people that are using the product in that way. But we're a small team, and we're always doing this dance on where are we focusing, and what are we going to put out there in the world. And so at the root of this, like reliability is really important. I think that's something that we've always prided ourselves in Switcher. And when things don't work as expected, or there's new bugs that come out, we are quick to try to resolve those. If there's things that you are experiencing that seem new or frustrating, like let us know. Let's work together and troubleshoot that so we can get to the right thing. But aside from that, I look at people that are moving into this experience of using Switcher for the first time, and just how do they make that first video? How do they get it on their website? Those are some of the things that we're really bumping up against right now. I think there's another question that came in we'll hit a little bit later, where we will preview some of the things that are in the pipeline for that studio experience and the app experience. So we'll talk more about that in a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're kind of already touching on some of the things that are coming. And I know there's been some foreshadowing about analytics. What can you tell us about which metrics we'll be able to see, like the experience? Is there anything else that you can tease out for us?
Yeah, so with this release and the updates rolling out tomorrow, if you're using Switcher Player on your website or sharing links to videos for the player page, we will start to surface how that video is performing. So on the home page of your online account, there'll be a widget where you can get a quick view for your last 30 days, last 7 days, what's going on with watch time or unique viewers. But in that video CMS section, there will be a new analytics category you can go into, where you can not only see things like watch time and viewers, but also things around like number of customers or total sales if you're doing things like subscriptions or ticketed events. And so this is V1 for analytics, but there's a whole lot of capability that's going to be there coming out of the gate. In that analytics tab from the dashboard, you'll also be able to set custom date ranges. So if you want to see how your channel or your videos performed last month, or how they performed over the last 6 months, or if you ran a particular campaign, you can make adjustments to see the results for those different windows of time. So super excited to get this one out, and like we said, that new view will be available in the dashboard later today or tomorrow.
Awesome. I know there's a lot of users that are going to be very happy about that. So again, speaking of some of the upcoming new features, I know there's been some chatter about the Chroma Key feature for a while, so we're again really excited about that. Again, like thanks to Ewan for demoing that. I know you have to enable the experimental features on the Switcher dashboard in order to access that right now. But can you tell me a little bit more about Chroma Key and like how you can use it? Can you add looping video to that? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, so you already hit this, and I think it's made its rounds in the user group as well. If you download the new app update, you're not going to see Chroma Key by default. You do need to log into your online account, go to experimental features, and enable that. Then when you go to the app, you should be able to see that on assets like videos, screen sharing, remote guests, and video sources. If for some reason that's not showing up, you can go to the profile on the app, log out, and log back in. That should refresh. But with Chroma Key, this first version is going to be really great for removing the background so that the subject or host can appear as an overlay. And in doing that, you can scale yourself up or down. You could put yourself in the corner, or put the on-screen talent in the corner. And we're really recommending this for use cases where you might be doing things like screen sharing a tutorial for how to do X, Y, and Z. Or if there's kind of a reaction video format where there's pre-recorded video that you want to speak to and kind of narrate what's happening. So those are the main use cases where we think this is going to be really, really good with what's available today. If it's something where you wanted to emulate an entire virtual set and go from camera 1 to camera 2, there's more to build. You're not really replacing backgrounds today in a way where that is paired with the camera. So if you go from camera 1 to camera 2, like, you're going to also have to change the background. It could be a little jarring. Not to say there aren't some creative workarounds out there that people might discover, but that's one that is just a little bit out of reach today. That said, I think this is something that we've heard from users for a while. We're really excited to get out there, and again, looking forward to getting your feedback so we can iterate on this and keep improving. You did ask about looping backgrounds.
Yes.
So we have not had the ability to loop video in Switcher up until now. That is one that's in the works, and we expect to be in one of the upcoming releases. So February, March, I would expect we probably have this one out there where people can start using it. It will allow you to take any pre-recorded video and have it repeat. And I think we're also looking at options like, does it repeat indefinitely? Do you want to have that repeat for a certain number of times or duration? You can also do this with audio. So if you've got sound that you want to play for an intermission or before a stream starts, or it's a sound bed in the background, it's lower, where it's just behind the people that are speaking, you can have that go indefinitely. So that one is in the works and should be coming out soon. This will also include the ability to take a video that's playing in Switcher, and you can long press on that asset in the same way you'd get to like edit properties, and you'll be able to pause that video during a stream. So today when you pick a video, it's going to start playing start to finish. If you pick it again, it's going to start from the beginning again. Here you'll be able to pause and resume those videos. So
such a game changer.
I think it's going to open up some new types of videos that people can create, and give people a lot more control. So that's one that we're pumped about and should be here soon.
So another question that maybe wasn't necessarily asked for this specific live Q&A, but has kind of been floating out there. In the most recent app update, there's now the UVC webcam option. Does this mean you don't need the Axoon Axoon CMO device, or is that I don't know if you want to.
Got it. So let me start with a short version of like, what is UVC, what is CMO. So Switcher is really great for making video from your iPhone or iPad. We were one of the first products in market to allow you to use another iPhone or iPad as a camera, make it a wireless angle that you could cut to. We just did it behind the scenes right there. More recently, we had an update where you can buy the CMO hardware that allows you to take any HDMI source or HDMI camera, have that video show up on your iPhone, and then we can wirelessly send that back to your main device. So it allows you to take professional cameras and bring those into your production. And CMO has been a great partner. It's a really good solution to use the iPhone as kind of that bridge to send video back. With iOS 17, Apple has now unlocked the USB-C port on newer iPads, where you can bring in a webcam, directly connect it to that iPad, and it's going to show up. You can also use a USB-C hub and bring in a capture card. So if you wanted to bring in an HDMI camera with a cam link or Elgato capture card, way less cables, and really, really easy to do, but it is limited to iPad. So you can connect that to your main device and replace the camera on that device, or if you had an iPad for camera 2 that's going to kind of relay that, you can use it in that way. But it is iPad only. It must be running iOS 17. CMO is still super awesome if you're going to be doing iPhones. It's kind of that bridge to send the video back. I'm really excited about this one. I could talk all day. Maybe we need to do a part 2 that's just on that. But with UVC, if you were to bring an HDMI camera into your main iPad that has audio and video coming through the HDMI cable, that's going to actually pass through to your iPad. So you could use external audio connected to your camera or a mixer, or like full like hardware-based video switcher like the ATEM, and have cameras and audio come into something like this, and then pass it through to switcher to do overlays, graphics, and do your streaming. So it opens up a lot of new possibilities. If you do connect something where audio and video is coming through, you can't override that. So if you do want to have your own audio mixer or microphone that that's not just coming through whatever camera you hook up, as long as it's connected to a USB hub and it's the last connection that's made, that USB mixer or microphone is going to override that and be your audio source. So you can use a hub to do both.
That's awesome.
Bring in an external camera with a capture card, or bring in a webcam and then connect your audio mixer. As long as it's that last one in, that'll be your sound for your production.
So basically, the theme is just more options.
More
for
options.
Everyone, for whatever you're doing.
more options, more control. I think this also starts to open the door for really breaking out the experience for how video gets made, so that it's a bit more collaborative. I think Switcher does a lot. And from that one device, you're mixing cameras, you're picking graphics, you're managing comments. Like, you've got a live stream that's going out. You might want to preview video before you go live. It takes a special kind of person to do all those things, and there's a lot of special people out there watching this video right now that are doing all those things.
Yeah.
But imagine having something like green screen on another device and doing like HTML graphics. Somebody else could do graphics, and then you could pass that over to Switcher. Imagine doing camera switchers through some kind of hardware setup like the ATEM, and then having that come into Switcher, and then someone else is just piecing all of those things together. I'm not saying jump to that. Like, I love seeing people do it all with iPhones and iPads and what Switcher has out of the box. But these partnerships, these integrations, these new hardware combinations and things like green screen and looping, I think are really moving us into a new direction where you can just do so much more with just your iPad.
Yeah.
So it's really, really cool.
Well, on that note, I might take a question from the YouTube live chat. Someone had a question, podcast na practica? I hope I'm saying that correctly. Can the minute be used in the Switcher platform? I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about how it's a little bit separate, but you can kind of customize it to go with the Switcher player.
Got it. So if you're using the Switcher player on your website or that video landing page that we provide, there are tabs that are associated with that player or particular video. So if I'm watching video A, I can see description, title, information about that video. You can also see things like links. There's a tab for playlists where you can see other videos that are associated with that player. If you're doing things like using Shopify connection, then products will show and people can add to a cart and check out from the player. The one I'm really excited about is things like ticketed events and subscriptions, where you can have videos in a Switcher player. You could have a featured video or trailer that is free to watch and kind of preview that content. And then you could have a collection of videos where people have to pay $10 a month or whatever price you name, $20 a month to access that content. Today, those tabs and that really interactive, immersive experience is what we provide, and so you do work within what's included in the player. Using something like Minute Chat or WhatsApp, there's not an integration for those things today. We're still really, really early with what it might look like for us to include that kind of interactivity, going back to even the need for like profiles. So you can't embed Minute Chat into the tabs in the Switcher player. It's going to have to live outside of it or alongside of it. But we've seen some decent use cases where people are doing that and it's working well. I think what you'll lose there is if someone goes full screen with the video, like all they're going to have is the video, and you lose those other elements on the page. So there's nothing to prevent you from adding other things around the player on your website or your website builder as you drop that embed or box on your site. I think this is where WhatsApp really shines. Is like if you were to use Switcher Player and add a link to your WhatsApp group or community. People could be watching on their computer, and then from their phone, you've almost got this like second screen experience that's just about the conversation that's happening there. So more to come on that front, but good question, and just want to kind of call out where things are at today. This is one that we'll keep our ear to.
Awesome. So I'll go back to one of the pre-submitted questions from @iPavel, again, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, from Instagram, and he wants to know what the short-term future of Switcher is with the app.
Okay, so in this big kickoff for 2024 and some of the newer announcements, we're talking about the expanded offering, being able to log into your online account and upload videos, manage those, create players, embed them on your website. But also like how that starts to pair with the app, where you can go live and it automatically shows up on your website, or where you can even upload video from your camera roll and have that be in a Switcher player on your website. Today, the app Switcher Studio that you all know and love can still be used as a standalone product. You can scroll down the pricing page on the website and subscribe to that. You can pay via in-app purchases, which is something that we've recently added, where you can use just the app to do multicam and stream on social. More and more, we're seeing people that want to do more than just make video, and that's where we've steered into having this connected experience where all of these things work together. And when I look at where we'll be taking the product, it's bringing that some of that online functionality into the app and vice versa, so that they really work together in a more connected way. So this is where things like the player and monetization will be more broadly available, and you can really start to taste that and experience what the full experience is, even if you're just starting out on the app. And so this is something else we kind of rumble with, as we see people that go to the website and will start uploading videos and embed on their website and build these libraries, and then they move to the app later. On the other hand, we see people that start with the app and they start playing with multicam and they start doing some live streams, and then they find out about all the things on the dashboard later. And so we want to build for a more connected experience where you can really see everything that's out there. With that, I think in this question there's a bit of like what is coming for the app. So I mean, this January release we had being able to preview video from remote cameras before you ever make the connection. I think this is gonna be really great for framing up shots before you pair it with your main iPhone or iPad. You're not going to have to walk back and forth across the room to make adjustments. We had things like UVC, we've got green screen. We've got some other things that are app specific or studio specific, like looping audio and video assets that we talked about. We've got that start, pause, resume playback for video if you're using pre-recorded content in the app that's just around the corner. We recently shared an article that is how to go live on Instagram with Switcher. So Instagram has been closed, where you could only make video from the Instagram app, and more recently they've allowed you to do RTMP streaming, so you can use third-party encoders like Wirecast, Ecamm, Switcher, you name it. So we've got an article in our help center on how to do that. The video on Instagram is vertical only, and so even if you stream widescreen, it's gonna kind of crop into the middle and give you that vertical video. There's a feature in Switcher today where you can get guidelines on your video. So we've had some streaming partners or providers where you might do like 4:3 video. We've got some customers that want to do like anamorphic or like really, really widescreen. And so you get this kind of overlay that shows inside of the app for how that might be framed. But then you've got clean video that's recorded without those markers and overlays. And so I'm going into a lot of detail here, but all this is to say, like, with Switcher, you can stream vertical video. You can choose to have everything, all of your assets, cameras show up as vertical and stream to Instagram. But you could also set Switcher up to be landscape or widescreen, stream to Instagram, and it's going to have that kind of cropped effect in the middle. And we've got an update coming where you can have guidelines on your video where, let's say you're multi-streaming on Facebook and YouTube, widescreen, but you're on Instagram at the same time and it's vertical. You'll have an overlay or kind of guideline so you can frame things where it'll work well for both. And if you were using something like director mode, the recording at the end of the day is going to be that full frame video where you've got total freedom for how you use that afterwards.
That's so handy. I mean, just from my own perspective with social media, making sure that you're centered and all that, it's nice to have a guide sometimes. Yeah.
Some of the newer things in our January app release for Studio have like an auto fade in and fade out on audio and video assets. So before, like if you were to cut away from a video or a sound clip, like it might be like a hard cut. Right now that's automated where it's going to ramp and fade out. So it's a little bit smoother transition. You don't have to do anything. It's just going to make your productions a little bit better. We are looking to add some more control to that so you could adjust how long that fade is. So, sliders for audio fade in and fade out, something we're looking at. Chroma Key, today you get the color picker that brings up like swatches that you pick from. Well, it may be something where you want to see what the camera sees and you want to pick a color that's actually in the frame. Those are some things that we're hearing from customers that we're already considering. And then another one that we've seen for a while is if you're adding a new overlay or graphic or asset, when you're choosing how to size that or place it, if you want to make an adjustment, the edit properties for that asset is really focused on that new thing that you're adding, and you don't necessarily have context for what are the other things that are on screen. Are they on top of each other? Do we have the right spacing? That's something else that we're going to be exploring. So no definitive timeline on these things, but it is a bit of a short list for studio or app specific features that we're taking a look at. Some are larger in scope and are going to take longer. Some are a little bit thinner slices. So be looking for more updates on a regular ongoing basis. I don't think we're going to hold on to all of this and then have one big release at the end of the year. We'll try to sprinkle these out as we go. That said, like we're also building a lot of other stuff within this platform for how we think about what happens before, during, and after, and how video gets made.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I'm going to take a couple more from the live part. So Joseph Anderson from YouTube Live, he asks, can you please show me how to download my live video from my library to my computer? Which I don't know. We don't have a pre-made demo of this, but I know that we have some Help Center articles that can show you how to do that. I don't know if you have any tips or anything you want to add.
Yeah, so things are going to be moving around a little bit as we roll out these new updates again later today or tomorrow. But if you log into switcherstudio.com and your online account, any videos that you've uploaded there or live streams you've done in the app where you've targeted the Switcher player are going to all be in one place in your online video library. And in the same place, the video we shared or like screen shares that we did at the beginning of today's session where we showed how to get the embed code for a single link or the share link to get that video out, there's another option to actually download that to your computer. So if you're doing something like multi-streaming and you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, but Switcher Player is one of your destinations, that live video is automatically going to be in your online library, and you can go to your online account and download that video from your online account. So I'm sure we can do a kind of bite-sized video on how to make those taps, but if you go back on the VOD or replay, that section where we talk about embedding a single video or getting the link for a single video, there is an option right next to that to download that video to your computer.
Very cool. Well, and just a reminder too, if you have questions, Jordan and Tim are amazing support team are moderating in the chat, and I can see them responding to some of these more technical questions or questions that aren't necessarily related to Switcher 2024 or Switcher 10.0. So again, like, keep asking, and we will answer all of the questions even if we don't answer them verbally. So keep submitting your questions. And on that note, Kevin Jack from Facebook, from the live chat, asked, can you create a way to stream widescreen, and instead of cropping the stream for Instagram, do a letterbox for Instagram? So he's currently...
Okay, that's next level.
Okay.
I think I'm with you. So I'll use an example. If you were to go landscape or horizontal mode in Switcher, stream on Facebook, stream on Instagram. When you go to Instagram, it is just going to grab the middle of that video, and it will make a new vertical video on Instagram that's from the center of the screen. We don't have a lot of control on what Instagram accepts or what it does with that video, so I don't think we can do exactly what's being asked here. But I could imagine a scenario where, and this might not be what you're looking for, where you could do a vertical video in Switcher, and you would add bars, or you would use only horizontal assets. And so you would be doing a vertical video to Instagram, and you'd have that space above and below. And what I've seen on like social posts is people will use that space to have banners or text or call to actions. And so you could imagine doing a video that's just for Instagram. You go vertical, but instead of making a vertical video, you produce it like the way that you would. You just need to be in that mode to start. But that actually gives you that entire canvas where you can do other things and show other information. So like if you got sponsors, it's a great way to give them some visibility. If you've got call to actions or text, a good way to do that. There are some gotchas with Instagram that are just different than you might expect on other platforms. Like from what we've seen so far, that video is only visible while it's live. When you end, there's not a recording or VOD on Instagram. But if you're making that video with Switcher, it's saved on your device. You can turn around and upload that or publish it, on Instagram or another platform. For something like Instagram, I might recommend taking the recording on Switcher and pulling out a clip or like snippets and share that back in the reels or stories. So there's a lot of different doors here, but that is one of the limitations we've seen with Instagram right now. It's live while it's live.
Well, that's I mean, again, just going back to my earlier comment, it sounds like there's just, an option really for everyone. It's just sort of what you want to make work, and, how much extra you want to do, like if you want to go the extra mile or not.
Yeah.
So let's see. So we had one more from previous that was submitted before our live stream from Instagram. Vanessa asked, can we adjust the playlist icon to be a unique title, like replays or library?
All right. I love that question. This is an example of people using the product and giving feedback on that experience. Hi, Vanessa. So we talked a little bit about this earlier, but those tabs that are associated with the Switcher player, that expanded experience where you can interact around the player, those are kind of baked in today. So if you've got something like the playlist tab that you go to, you're not going to be able to replace the icons in that with where we're at in the product right now. That said, if you're doing a live video or there's an upcoming stream, that does appear in the playlist, and it is separated and formatted a little bit differently than VOD from previously live videos or uploaded content. Also, if you're doing something like a featured video or a trailer, that is emphasized or shown a little bit differently in that area where you're showing the playlist. I think where we can pay this off when we talk about some of the things that we're working on, we're building for catalogs, like being able to show lots of videos all at once, or have that kind of like Netflix style experience. When you are adding videos to your online account in the library, you can add tags, labels, or categories. Those are all kind of the same thing. I'm probably just fishing for the right one. I think we're calling them categories today. So when you go to upload those videos, you can have a category that's associated with a particular group. Or if after you've uploaded a video or you have a replay, you can go in and edit that video and associate a category with it. And one of the things we're talking about is when you use this catalog embed or a way of showing lots of videos on your website, those categories actually follow. And like ideally, there's not going to be a ton of setup and configuration here. It's just going to kind of magically organize your videos based on those categories. So I think that might get us close to what is being asked here. It's a little bit different than what's being asked, but rather than having like loads and loads of settings and options and like buttons everywhere and things to change, we want to have a little bit of magic in there too. Where it just works. And so, again, really excited for catalogs. That's one the team is starting to queue up, and is not that far out.
Nice. So I think we're probably gonna wrap up soon. So I'll take maybe 2 more questions. One is from Aubrey on the Facebook Live stream. Is there an API for Switcher?
I would be interested in what you're trying to do, because that could take a lot of different forms. There are no external APIs. We do have select partners that we integrate with, or we're working behind the scenes to do, like SEMO as an example, or where we've worked with like DJI Osmo in the past. But in a lot of instances, it's like that third party has an API or SDK that we're building against, not Switcher has an API that someone else is using.
Right.
I could see a world where the Switcher player and the tabs that appear next to that is more open, and there could be new experiences that are enabled through partnerships. I don't know that we would immediately jump to like this is publicly available where everyone can do it. We'd start with a smaller group to kind of prove that out. On the app side, there's different ways you could think about that as well. I think the closest door we have right now is if there's another streaming platform out there where you wanted to use Switcher to create that content. We've got a magic URL where we can make that a little bit easier to set something up on their side and then open the app and it knows what to do. So that one's tough because it can take a lot of different forms. Right now we're a small enough team where we kind of have our hands on everything, and we need to keep that a little bit closer to our chest. But I think absolutely when I think long term, being more open and thinking about how we could introduce some APIs or allow other people to build on the experience is something that we'll be thinking about.
Yeah, sounds like maybe a down the road.
Not a 2024 initiative.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Well, and then so the last, it's more of a comment than a question that I want to take is from Will Gamboa. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And he is saying the Made with Switcher weekly show should come back. So I don't know. Sounds like people just want to hear from us more, which is awesome.
Yeah.
We love hearing from you guys too. So I don't know if there's, maybe something we could do in the future that as we release more of these features that you talked about.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Hi, Will. Great to see comments coming in across the board. Again, anything we didn't get to on the live stream, we will try to follow up afterwards on social in the comments. I know that was something where there was a lot of excitement and some engagement around that weekly live show. I think as a company, one of the things we saw is that a lot of the comments week over week were really feature focused. And it was a lot of the same kind of questions week over week. And when we're looking at building the product, we're not going to have new releases every single week. It's going to take months in some cases to roll some of this stuff
Yeah.
out. And I'd love to be in a position where we could do more of what we've done this go around, where we've got something where we're really expanding the offering, we're showing this connected experience, we're giving some visibility into it, but we're also giving people an opportunity to try it and to give feedback and ideas around those things that we've rolled out. So I think there's something to what's happened around that kickoff announcement for January and kind of this follow-up live Q&A where we could look to do more of that. I don't think we're going to be in like here's a video every single week scenario.
Right.
The other challenge here is just, again, we've got a small team. But we've built something really big, and I think we've had a big impact on the world. But people are wearing a lot of different hats, and like it's a lot of time and energy to do these all the time. And so I want to be more connected to you all. We're excited about where we're going and the future of Switcher, and I think there's absolutely an opportunity to really think about that from a community perspective. I guess one of the other pieces in there is like it's used in a lot of different ways, and so like the audience for something that's really technical or like more hyper app focused versus something that is more workflow driven versus like what a business needs. We'll need to think a little bit about how we approach that. So I don't want to say no, but I don't think it's going to be exactly what we've done in the past. There's an opportunity here for us to revisit and do something new.
And I can also tell you there might be some new content series that are coming out that may address some of the things that you're wanting to hear from us about. Like, go ahead and tease, we're starting a email newsletter, which will feature some of the Made with Switcher content and users, and then have some hacks and like Switcher tips and things. So you'll be hearing from us more, even if it's not a weekly live stream, but you'll be seeing a lot of us in 2024. So I think that's all. I'm gonna say maybe we can wrap this up.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and close out for today. Again, super excited for this January kickoff. We had a lot of things drop mid-January, and we've got a new batch that's going to be rolling out here today and tomorrow. So go to your online account, start refreshing. I think it'll be tomorrow before it's all there, but folks will start seeing that and some of the things that we represented and shared in the video today. Again, keep the comments coming. We'll be paying attention to those and jumping in. And
Sure.
There's a lot of resources out there already in our help center where we can direct people to. If it's something where we need to troubleshoot, we can help you get a ticket started so that we can track that and partner to work through those things. If you've got feature requests, log into your online account and submit those. We are doing weekly meetings with the team internally on voice of the customer. We look at app reviews. We look at customer conversations. We look at our strategy and direction, and all those things kind of swirl together. And then we got to do the dance for what comes next, and where things are going. So it's been a long road. We started this in 2024. I think we've been able to do some. Oh yeah, it's almost a decade. Thank you. I'm glad I've got a sidekick today. We first launched Switcher in 2014. We were the launch partner for Facebook Live in 2016. We've been able to accomplish some incredible things with the app. It's still at the core of what we do. When I think about how video gets made, there's just not a better camera than an iPhone. I mean, there are options out there, but this stuff is everywhere. It's hardware people already have. I think there's so much that we've been able to do in software to level up that experience. And I even think about the things we're doing with video on your website and hosting and managing content. If you're looking to do things like monetize or have a subscription, having new ongoing content is really important. And so I don't expect every video that people make is made with Switcher. You can upload from the app. You can upload from your online account if you're doing it with something else. But I think there's going to be something with that integrated, connected experience that we can offer when you do it the Switcher way. It's just hard to imagine doing it any other way. So we've got some work to do, more to build. I think you can expect probably some new experiences for how video are made outside of what you're used to seeing. The clips feature that we have is probably a taste of that. That is probably really underutilized. I don't think we've done a good enough job of educating people what's there and what you can do. But all that's to say, like, it's 2024. I think this is a great way to kick off the year. Excited to spend some time with you all today, and really looking forward to what we build for the future. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you.
All right. We'll talk more. Take care.